Hello, today I'd like to talk to you a bit about the induction coil heater that I've made. On the inside here, you can see the 24 volt DC power supply, as well as the component board with all the elements of the circuit for the induction coil. I have it on a fused switch for some added safety. This cord disconnects, so you can pack it up compactly. The exterior is a perforated aluminum, and it's nice and light, but also sturdy, and adds a lot of good ventilation. So you can see inside there's some fins on heat sinks, and that helps keep it cool. Up front you can see the copper induction coil, and here are the mulling irons, which I also made. Now this one you can see is oxidized. It's been used before, this one has not. Alright, it's still a little warm from the last test I did, but we'll heat it up again here. So I made these just by turning some round stock and tapping one end to connect it to these white oak handles. A little bit of history on mulling irons is that they were the method of choice for heating beverages before there were conveniences like microwaves and such. So you could take this hot poker out of your fireplace and just plunge it into your mug of whatever you might like. Obviously those were longer handled because you had to reach into an actual fire, etc. So these are a little bit more handy and suitable for this application. Some of the things people would have mulled would have been obviously mulled wine, which was just wine with some spices, maybe some sugar added to it. Hot cider, as you might imagine, was pretty common as well. Put some cider with some spices in a mug, maybe add some sugar to that, maybe add some rum if it's not already hard cider. And heat that up similarly. Something you may not be as familiar with is hot beer drinks, which were once more common, and those were, as you might imagine, beer heated up in a similar fashion to mulled wine with some spices added to it. Occasionally they would add egg whites, even bread in some recipes that I've seen. That really makes it sort of a more hearty meal. And you have to remember, beer wasn't always consistent in its taste, and it would go stale. And so it was a way to make do with something you might otherwise not be able to consume. You add some spices to make it palatable, and you can still gain some nourishment. And especially in the depths of a cold, long winter, it was a good thing to have to help stay warm with your friends and family and consume some beverages that would warm your spirits and your stomachs. This is getting hot here. It can take about 3 minutes to get really red hot. And that's kind of what you need for it to really heat a beverage thoroughly, depending on the size of your mug, obviously. I'm starting to get a faint glow here. You can see it better in the shadow of the coils. The camera might not pick it up from there, but one thing I do want to add is something to hold this rod. I had planned on using some high temperature glass tubing, but it hasn't arrived yet, so it's very manual right now. And there we go, starting to get a nice glow. And I will show you, take a look at that. A nice glow, and here we go. Cheers.